Good morning, this is Sue, and as you probably know, my first love is phantoms, ghosts, whatever you call it. And I love to go through old newspapers and look for articles. Now, this is an article dated 1864, and it's talking about a ghost that appeared in a photograph. Now, this is very young photography. It was very young. It took a long time for a picture to be taken. You had to stand perfectly still. There were a lot of things, but I'm going to cover this. You can use your own opinion. It's the ghost in the photograph created some of the most hysteria about a year and a half ago. This paper is written in 1864. In 1862, a photographer who we will call Mr. Blank was pursuing his professional avocations in his story of America. According to an account sent by Dr. Daw to one of the magazines devoted to spiritualism, Mr. Blank one day bethought himself of taking his photograph. It was allegedly taken on Sunday, October 3rd, we are told. He was engaged in arranging the chemicals for his studio. Whether he thought Sunday was a proper day for dealing with spirits, we're not informed. But having prepared a plate and placing a chair next to the focus of the camera, and by which to adjust it, he proceeded to take his own photograph, card size, by quickly jumping into the position and standing still the required time. The photograph, developed in the usual way, represented Mr. Blank as to active off in the black cloth used to cover the camera in his head. Upon the back of the picture is written, "This photograph was taken of myself by myself on Sunday when there was not a living soul in the room beside me. The form on my right I recognize as my cousin, who passed away some 12 years ago. The term on my right was a sensational part of the whole affair. We are informed that the photograph presented besides the picture of the photographer himself, the image of a young girl, 12 or 13 years of age, apparently sitting in the chair. The outline of the upper body was distinctly seen through the body, and you could see the chair. Below the waist, which is apparently clothed in a dress with low neck and short sleeves, the image faded away into a dim mist. It simply clouded the lower part of the picture. The American cousin in no way related to Dundreary family. It was a wonder, a puzzle, a mystery. Mr. Blake is asserted to all that the image remembered his deceased cousin, that the appearance on the picture was wholly unexpected to him and startled him much. No sooner did the Flossie photograph become known as Beaton than the genius multiplied with surprising fertility. Numerous photographs inside their appearances, each presenting a faint image, sometimes of a more developed character, and some images it was the spirit of a lady sitting in a chair with white identified man or something behind the bar, like 2 or 3 pillows. And another was a faintly defined form of a young man playing the guitar. And another, a female figure with a hair dress quite plain and Quakerish. A small white collar about the neck tied with a dark ribbon, and a close-fitting dress, visible only to the waist. In another, a female floating in the air. In another, 2 images, one of an old man and one of a young woman, and so forth. All these were irrespective of the similarity for the real portrait in each picture. And there were persons ready to declare that in each case the image represented to be a dead relative or something. Now, we've said that purposely avoid the mention of the names in the matter. For those are the spiritualists of the point to consult the pages of the Spiritualist magazine. It is right, however, to note that the photographer have to say on the subject. Mr. Blank and Mr. Da ask us to believe that the phantom images came upon the photographer by spirit power, whatever they may be, that in some cases the sitter can bring upon the result by simply wishing that his dead relatives may appear in the picture. For this sitter must be a sensitive spiritual medium and use his strength if he does this more than 3 or 4 times a day. When, however, the American Photographer Society heard of this and saw these things, it was specifically pronounced then to be a fraud and acquainted with 3 or 4 different ways of which you could make the pictures. In the first place, when such sensitive gas plate has served its term as a negative, as many paper positives as so away as the needed having been taken from it, the film or a collision other than prepared surface. It's removed from it, and it may be then used for a whole new photograph. But if traces of the former picture still remain, those figures forming in the second picture, one photographer is endeavoring to utilize the old plate, which has fulfilled its duty as a negative on the late Princess Conrad. Do not wholly erase the image. Wash out or rub it by night. There's always a faint ghost of the image. So basically what they said is that maybe the guy wasn't intending to fraudulently do this. It's just that because photography is so young and so new that people don't realize that they can't keep using the same glass plates. There's several things that could happen. And they basically debunked it. I'll let you know what your opinion is. Thank you.